Hello and welcome to Hannicamp Manor Box and Books. This is Deidre Hannicamp, and we are doing an interview today with Terry Salyer. He's our consultant from Mountain Association, and he's graciously agreed to tell us a little bit about himself and about this journey we've been on together.
Yeah, it's a journey, yeah.
So our first question that we have for him is, how did he become a business consultant? And we want to know a little more about you, Terry.
Okay, well, you know, the key thing there, consultants are like anybody. Everybody's got an opinion, this and that or whatever, but I've been blessed to go through a lot of different things in my lifetime as far as even business. I've worked for small businesses that I've created myself and either merged or spun off or sold to other individuals or groups. And I've also worked in the retail industry and wholesale industry a lot myself for companies, you know, small, medium, and large, and knowing the bureaucracy that goes a lot of times with those particular phases or groups that you're working with. But what's happened through the years, the reason I got into consulting was a lot of people approached me and for advice or direction or development or creation, you know, they bounced a lot of ideas and things off of me. And the main thing there is I had a slogan years ago, from mind to market, and rarely does an entrepreneur or a person that's creating a company or a business and selling products and services have the ability to be an administrator or a manager or a sales or marketing person or a distribution network kind of person. So I find myself learning those skills and all the things I've been involved with, and they've approached me about how to do that, and I've had the luxury of working with associations like Mountain Association, which used to be MASIC for I've worked with them over 15 years now, with different clients and things, of doing assessments and working with them. But that's kind of how I got into it. People approaching me and say, hey, I need some help, and with your experience and your background and all the different types of things you did, we feel that you can be a positive effect on us. So that's basically why I got into it.
So is there a big difference between working with a micro business like ours and a big business?
Well, to be quite honest with you, no, because they all have the same needs and they all have the same pains, but the magnitude, it can be differently, because what happens if you work with a micro company, you deal with a small number of individuals. In my past, I've had to work with large companies that develop sales teams based on their products and services that they offer. So and I would have to even help build independent salespeople for them outside of their organization, or develop sales teams within. So depending on the vision or the mission or where you're going to go and how you're going to grow your business, you know, micro is sometimes easier because you may have one or two people that's in their infrastructure that you can work with. And a lot of times it's easier to get things, you know, done or decided. Whereas on a larger corporation, you have, you know, more people that are going to have to be involved with the decision process.
So is there a big difference between natural disaster recovery for businesses and just general economic issues?
Well, I could go on forever about that. The one thing that I've found out in dealing with national disaster situations is a lot of times you have to deal with not just the physicality of getting business back up and running, but there's a mental aspect. You know, they've had a devastating thing in their life, and there's a lot of things that they're going to have to grow or get over with mentally, that is that devastation to, you know, what their business is. So, you know, getting back on your feet and having a direction and vision is great, But there's a lot of mental aspects you got to look at too. You got to sometimes build them up.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and we're going to wrap it up until next time.
Okay.
This has been Deidre Hannicamp here at Hannicamp Manor Box and Books. This is Deidre Hannicamp here at Hannicamp Manor Box and Books, welcoming back Terry Salyer, our business consultant from Mountain Association. My mind went blank there for a minute. Let's see. We're going to ask him today about resistant clients. That would be people like us. We've been notorious to resist change in the past. So how do you deal with clients that resist your suggestions?
Well, you know, the main thing of being a consultant with people, you've got to know your audience. And in my situation, there's a lot of technical skills that goes into helping business, assessing business, look at things and stuff of that nature. But there's also a factor that a lot of times and a lot of consultants don't look at is the mental aspect. I mean, you guys have gone through some devastating things with the floods and stuff like that. So a lot of times we have to get over, it's almost like losing a loved one. You lose a business and thing that's very close to your heart. So there's a lot of things and phases you got to get through, you know, depression and anger and all that kind of deal. So a consultant needs to look at the mental aspect of things along with the technical things that need to be done, and I think that's very important. And one of the great things of working with you all here at Hannicamp Manor Bikes and Books is the fact that you've been through this twice. And there's a lot of emotion that's involved with that. So I think a consultant has to be aware and concerned of that, because our job is just to give you the tools to be able to recover through any situation, whether it be a disaster or whether it be something that you want to have a different vision or a direction for your business.
So what would attract you to a business like ours? We have like bicycles and art and books, and in that kind of line of questioning, also, what is your experience with adventure sports and the arts?
Well, I've always been a sportsman since I was young. I mean, I played 5 sports in high school, 3 in college. I love the outdoors and things of that nature. I love four-wheeling and going out and getting in the wilderness. I was a Boy Scout all my life, so yeah, I like the outdoors and things that deal with that. I've always been an artsy person. That's my background. I produce shows, direct shows, things of that nature. So I've always been involved in the arts, and that's both of those factors were led to me to be attracted to you all as a business, and it's a very unique situation because of what you're doing with publishing and books and writing books and editing books and things, and then Onus with his background as far as his expertise and certification in bikes. We live in an area that's very outdoorsy. There's a lot of trails and things of that nature that are coming into the tourism aspect here in Kentucky, and I believe that Kentucky is beautiful. It's a great place to live, particularly eastern Kentucky, and it's an opportunity for people coming from the outside states of seeing some of the beauty and the things that we have here in eastern Kentucky.